HOA Karen's voice was a chainsaw, shredding the quiet evening air with her shrill demands. "You're out by tomorrow, or I'll have you dragged out," she bellowed, her chins wobbling as she jabbed a manicured finger at me from the front lawn of my own duplex. I stood on the porch, arms folded, watching her performance with a mix of amusement and disbelief. The audacity of this woman president of the HOA, self-appointed queen of the block, thinking she could evict me from the home I'd bought outright 3 years ago. Her sister, Min, stood beside her, nodding like a bobblehead, her pinched face radiating the same entitlement. The Karen sisters, as the neighbors called them, were a walking stereotype, loud, overbearing, and utterly clueless about the storm they were about to unleash. It started innocently enough, or so I thought. I'd moved into this quiet duplex in Oak Ridge, a cozy little neighborhood where people mostly kept to themselves. I'm a freelance graphic designer, 32, single, and I'd sunk every penny of my savings into this place. It was my sanctuary, my pride. The duplex was a 2-unit gem, and I lived in one half while renting the other to a sweet elderly couple, the Nguyen's. Everything was fine until HOA Karen and Min, the HOA's dynamic duo, decided I was lowering property values with my unkempt lawn, read, a few wildflowers I'd planted for the bees. They'd been sending me nasty letters for months, each one more unhinged than the last, accusing me of everything from suspicious loitering, I was watering my plants, to illegal tenancy, I literally own the place. Today, though, they'd escalated. HOA, all 250 pounds of her, waddled up my driveway with a stack of papers she claimed were eviction notices. Min trailed behind, clutching a clipboard like it was a badge of authority. "You've been warned," HOA screeched, her voice echoing down the street. "This is an HOA violation. You're not even on the deed." I raised an eyebrow, leaning against the porch railing. "HOA, I own this duplex. Check the county records." Her face twisted into a sneer, as if I'd just told her the sky was green. "Lies," she spat. "You're a squatter. We've had enough of your kind around here." Her words stung, not because they were true, but because of the venom behind them. "Your kind" was a jab at my background, half Vietnamese, half American, raised by a single mom who taught me to stand my ground. I'd dealt with people like HOA before, people who saw me and assumed I didn't belong. But this wasn't just about me. The Nguyen's, my tenants, were watching from their window, their faces pale with worry. HOA had been harassing them too, claiming their grandkids' visits were disrupting the community. The sisters had a knack for targeting anyone who didn't fit their narrow vision of respectable. I took a deep breath, keeping my voice steady. "HOA, Min, you're making a mistake. I have the deed, the title, everything. You can't evict me." Min piped up, her voice nasal and grating. "We'll see about that. We've got connections at City Hall." Connections? I almost laughed. These two thought they could bully their way through life, armed with nothing but self-righteousness and a clipboard. But their confidence was unshakable, and that's when I noticed the crowd starting to gather, neighbors peeking out from behind curtains, a few stepping onto their lawns. They weren't here to support the Karens. They were here for the show. The sisters' campaign against me had been brewing for months. It wasn't just the letters. They'd spread rumors that I was running an illegal boarding house. They'd called the city to report code violations, a single cracked patio tile. They'd even tried to fine me $500 for unauthorized modifications when I painted my front door blue. Each time, I'd calmly provided proof of ownership, permits, whatever they demanded. But HOA and Min didn't care about facts. They cared about control. And now, standing on my lawn, waving their fake eviction notice, they thought they'd won. "Get off my property," I said, my voice low but firm. HOA laughed, a harsh, barking sound. "Your property? Oh, honey, you're delusional. This is our neighborhood." She turned to Min, who was scribbling something on her clipboard. "Call the police. Tell them we've got a trespasser." My stomach twisted. This was getting out of hand. I pulled out my phone, ready to call my lawyer, when I heard the faint wail of sirens. Min smirked. "They're already on their way." The police arrived in minutes, two officers stepping out of a cruiser. The taller one, Officer Daniels, looked exhausted, like he'd dealt with HOA nonsense before. The shorter one, Officer Lopez, held a notepad, eyeing the scene with calm professionalism. HOA launched into her tirade before they could even speak. "Officers, this man is squatting. He's not on the deed. We're the HOA, and we demand he be removed." Min nodded furiously, thrusting her clipboard at them. I stayed quiet, letting them dig their own grave. Daniels raised a hand. "Ma'am, calm down." "Sir," he turned to me. "Can you explain?" I nodded, pulling out my phone to show the digital copy of my deed, time-stamped and notarized. "I've owned this duplex since 2022. These women have been harassing me and my tenants for months. They're trying to evict me with fake documents." Lopez took my phone, scrolling through the evidence, while HOA's face turned beet red. "That's fake," she shrieked. "He's a liar." The officers exchanged a glance. Lopez handed my phone back and turned to HOA. "Ma'am, forging eviction notices is a serious offense. Do you have any proof of your claims?" HOA sputtered, waving her papers. This is proof." Daniels took the papers, skimming them. His brow furrowed. "These aren't legal documents. They're not even signed by a judge." Min's smug grin faltered. But we're the HOA," she stammered. Daniels sighed. "HOAs don't have the authority to evict anyone. You need a court order." The crowd was growing now, neighbors whispering, some recording on their phones. I caught Mr. Nguyen's eye. He gave me a small nod, his wife clutching his arm. They'd been through enough, and I wasn't about to let these bullies win. "Officers," I said, "I want to press charges. They've been harassing me and my tenants, forging documents, and wasting your time." HOA's jaw dropped. "You can't do that," she screeched. "We're protecting the neighborhood." Lopez wasn't having it. "Ma'am, you're the one breaking the law here. Forging legal documents, harassment, and false police reports are crimes." He pulled out a pair of handcuffs, and the crowd gasped. HOA took a step back, her bravado crumbling. "You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president." Daniels shook his head. "Not above the law, ma'am." Min started to cry, her clipboard clattering to the ground. The officers cuffed them both, reading their rights as HOA wailed about injustice, and Min begged for her lawyer. As the police led them to the cruiser, the neighbors erupted into murmurs. Some clapped. Mrs. Nguyen stepped out, her voice trembling but firm. "Thank you," she said to me. "They've been bullying everyone for years." I nodded, my chest tight. This wasn't just about me. It was about every person the Karen sisters had intimidated, every neighbor they'd made feel small. They thought they could rule through fear, but they'd picked the wrong target. The next week, the story spread like wildfire. The local paper ran a headline: HOA sisters arrested in eviction scam. HOA and Min faced charges of harassment, forgery, and filing false reports. The HOA board was dissolved, and new elections were scheduled. I helped the Nguyen's file a restraining order, and the neighborhood started to feel like a community again. People stopped by with casseroles, thank you notes, even a bottle of wine from the guy across the street who'd filmed the whole thing. Looking back, I realized HOA and Min's downfall wasn't just their arrest. It was their belief that they could bully their way to power, that their loud voices and fake authority made them untouchable. They didn't count on someone like Ms. Sumion who knew their rights, who had the receipts, and who wasn't afraid to stand up. They thought they could evict me from my own home, but in the end, they evicted themselves from their pedestal. The duplex is quiet now. The wildflowers are blooming, and the Nguyen's grandkids are back, laughing in the yard. I sit on my porch, sipping coffee, watching the sunset paint the sky. The Karen sisters are gone, their reign of terror over. And I'm still here, in my home, where I belong. The end.